Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today we're going to be doing a movie review for you guys. So the movie we're reviewing today is Companion. Companion just came out this past weekend, and I know a lot of you guys did not go see it because it only made like $10 million in theaters this past weekend. Hopefully you're planning on seeing it this upcoming weekend or for Valentine's Day, because this movie is definitely one that I would recommend that you guys check out. So let's get into the synopsis of Companion. So Josh and Iris are a couple, and they get invited by one of Josh's friends to go out into like the countryside and stay at this really nice house and just kind of hang out with friends. They haven't really hung out with Josh's friends too much. Like, they at least know of each other and have maybe met once or twice, but for the most part, Iris hasn't really hung around Josh's friends. So she's a little worried that they might not like her or things like that. Once they get to the cabin, which actually turns out to be a massive house, things kind of go a little downhill and secrets are revealed. And that's where I'm going to leave the synopsis. I went and saw this movie this past weekend in IMAX. Do you need to have seen it in IMAX? Probably not. But my ticket was free, so I was like, might as well. And we were me and my friend went, and we were one of only like 6 people in the theater. I think we got like the best seats for IMAX because we got up to our seats and you look around and all the seats look pretty new. And then you get to our seats and they're so worn out. There was wear all over the seats. So we were like, we got the best seats in the house because these are the only ones that have wear on them. And I did have a good time. I thought that it was great. Nobody sat in front of us. So where we were in the IMAX, it was basically like we had the entire theater to ourselves. So that was pretty fun. But you could definitely watch this probably on any screen, any theater screen that you want, and you would still have a good time. This didn't have it had good visuals, but nothing that was blow your mind for IMAX. But we were like, why not? And I didn't mention it in my synopsis, but the marketing campaign for this movie has really leaned heavily into that Iris is a robot. And so you're like, well, they're giving away the major twist in this movie, then why do I need to watch it? Or is there anything else left for them to reveal, because they've already revealed that Iris is a robot? You find out pretty quickly that Iris is a robot. Maybe within the first 20 minutes, you realize and find out that she is a robot. She herself does not know she is a robot. So that leads for some things in the future for her to find out. But the audience knows that she is a robot pretty early on in the movie. But with that being said, there are a lot of twists and turns in this movie. I would recommend trying to go in as blind as possible, because these twists are pretty shocking. I was like, a couple times did the gasp thing. And I was like, whoa, I did not see that coming, multiple times. And so, yeah, there are quite a few twists left in this movie for you to be able to experience for yourself. So let's talk a little bit about the rating for this movie, because I think that there is some missed opportunity to deepen the messaging behind this movie and whatnot. So this is rated R, and it's probably mostly for violence, blood, and stuff like that. But Iris they call her a companion robot in this movie, and we all pretty much know what a companion robot actually is. And there are glimpses of that use for a companion robot in this movie. There are 2 instances in particular, but neither of them are graphic in any way. And one of them is you just hear behind a closed door that something is happening. And then one, you see like the tail end of a situation. This might be a bit weird to say, but I do think that I would have liked more of that element of this so that the messaging is a little bit more clear. Because when you get into this like robot that looks like a woman and a man is the one that has it, there's all of these, it's messaging about men that treat women like property and basically give them no agency and basically use them and do what they want with their robot, and in turn the type of men who do that with women. And so I feel like if we had a little bit more of that side of the companionness of this movie, that it would further show how some men can use women as an object. And I think that would have enhanced the messaging in this movie. I think that it's fine. I got the message through what was shown in this movie, but I think that could have elevated this a little bit more. And there's also, like, there is blood in this movie, but there's not a lot of blood. And you don't really see a ton of real violence in this movie. There's elements, but they're very quick, and there is blood, but this isn't like a slasher movie where there's overkill. And then I wanted to talk about our main actors, Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher, who are great in this movie. I think that they do a great job. Jack Quaid is getting a little bit typecasted in this role, and I hope that he can kind of get away from that, because I think that he is a good actor, and I just don't want to see him playing not great people all the time. Because it is a little reminiscent of his character from Scream, and I'll leave it at that so I don't say too much about that character. And I think that Sophie Thatcher does a great job. There's a lot of like real interesting, like real subtle mouth movements and eye movements that really make her character feel like a real person. I mean, obviously Sophie Thatcher is a real person playing a robot that's supposed to mimic life, but I think she does a good job kind of having those little like twitch things where it seems like she is having like a little robot twitch, which I don't know if that's really her or if that is something that she purposely did for this role. I never really noticed it in Yellow Jackets, so it's potential that she did do this specifically for this role. And I went into it a little bit, but the messaging in this movie is really interesting. And it does revolve around this idea of men owning women and the misogyny that's there. And I'll talk about it a little bit in the spoilers section, which is coming right up, about the motivation and kind of like the end monologue, kind of talking about the whole thing. So I'll end this section of this review with my rating of the movie, which I gave a 4 out of 5 stars. And specifically on my Letterboxd, I said, if or when this happens in real life, we need to bring bullying back, because what do you mean somebody's going to bring their sex robot out in public? I think that deserves some bullying. Some things should be kept at home in the bedroom and not brought out into the real world. Now, if you have not already seen Companion and you don't want any spoilers, click off this video now and come back to it after you've seen Companion. But now we're going to get into a bit of the spoilers for Companion, so you have been warned. So we have our first kill in this movie, which is Iris. It goes down to this little like lake beach area, and Sergey, who is one of Josh's friends, he's the owner of the house, and he comes down and is just chatting with Iris, who is lounging by the lake, and she's waiting on Josh. Josh didn't want to come down right away, so Sergey is like, oh, let me hang out here with you, and she gets a little uncomfortable, and Sergey wants her to put some sun lotion on his back and shoulders, and so she does, and then he escalates things because everyone in this house, all of Josh's friends, knows what Iris is, and so he's like, well, Kat gave me permission, so we can do things. And Iris still at this point has no idea that she is a robot, and so he kind of forces himself onto Iris, and Iris stabs him in the neck, killing him. And so in the trailer, you see Iris covered in blood, and that is Sergey's blood. She comes back to the house, and everyone kind of freaks out because she just killed somebody, and that's not really... These robots have safeguards which are supposed to make them to where they're not a danger to humans. And so we find out that Josh and Kat were conspiring to use Iris to kill Sergey so that they can take his $12 million that he has in a safe in his house. And they do that by Josh adding a mod to Iris, which allows him to bypass a lot of those safeguards and change things like aggression and basically get rid of the part of her coding that makes her not able to hurt humans. And so that was one of the big shocks, that this was the plan all along. And we think when it happens that Iris has just gone rogue and has killed this man. The next big surprises is kind of when they're talking about the splitting up the money, and we find out that Eli actually has his own companion robot, which is Patrick, who, since we've met Patrick, we think is a real person. So that was quite shocking. And then let's talk about kind of like that end monologue and the potential for a sequel. So Josh really has this, I don't know, sense of entitlement that a lot of people have. The sense of entitlement that they're owed the world, and when things aren't going their way, that it's everyone else's fault but theirs. And so he basically was like, you, Iris, were supposed to, he didn't say that he can't get a real girl, which, if you look at Jack Quaid, he's good looking enough. He could get any girl he wanted. So, why did he have to resort to getting Iris? I'm not quite sure, and it's not really explored in this movie, but he was basically like, I should be able to get whatever I want. I should be able to do whatever I want. And so that kind of leads into why he got Iris. So he could basically treat her as an object and could do whatever he wanted with her and make her do whatever he wanted her to do. So it was really interesting, that dynamic. And after everything is all said and done, he tries to kill Iris. Iris does not die because he has he damages her head, but we find out that all of the real important stuff is located in her stomach area. And then Iris ends up getting modded by one of the people that work for the robot company, and allows her to be jailbroken, like completely jailbroken, so that she can then kill Josh. And then during the end credits, we see her just like driving away. And so that does lead us to a potential sequel where we have Iris, who's gained some independence and is going to live on her own. And I don't know how she's going to hide the fact that she doesn't have a hand because the skin on her arm got burned by Josh, and she ripped all of her like fake human skin off, so now she's got like a whole robot arm. So I don't know how she's gonna hide that, but I would be interested to see if they do decide to make a sequel and where that sequel will go with Iris's character. But that is it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments down below if you have seen Companion, what you thought of it. Remember, if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to be, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like if you liked it. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day. Bye.